With the cancellation of Spider-Man 4, Sony began work on a reboot to the Spider-Man franchise. However, this time as a more grounded and gritty approach to the character's mythos. The Amazing Spider-Man opened to favorable reviews and showcased a promising new start for the character. However, as with many films, there are many concepts and plot points that couldn't make it into the final product. Concepts can often showcase the creative direction and vision of a particular project. So let's take a look at what elements ended up on the cutting room floor and how they influenced the creative direction. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man suit cemented itself in the minds of the fanbase. Although the design took quite a few creative liberties, it still looked incredibly stylish and unique. The creators of The Amazing Spider-Man wanted to go a completely different direction for Spider-Man's suit. Taking influence from Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, this film existed in a much more gritty and grounded world. So many aspects of Spider-Man's character needed to be believable, especially when it comes to his gear. The spider suit needed to look practical, like something a teenager with barely any money could reasonably afford to make. It also needed to be based in the real world, like something an athlete would wear for intense training. So as a result, the suit took elements from many real-world sportswear. In these concepts, the artists experimented with the placement and design of the spider logo. Some are dominant and fierce, while others are much smaller and discreet. The red and blue also have varying amounts of dominance. Sometimes the red is more prevalent, while other times it's much more balanced. The artist also gave the suit a web cape, which is a nice nod to Spider-Man 2099. The designs are indeed unique. However, Spider-Man looks quite intense and scary, with sharp aggressive eyes. The black lenses also add to his intensity, making him appear like a devilish entity. In this concept, it seems like the artist had fun creating the wildest design possible. He took the most iconic parts of the character's look and chaotically rearranged them. The red and blue colors are menacingly spread across the whole suit, as if they were some kind of abstract painting. The spider logo wraps around the body, seamlessly connecting with the blue sections. The webbing spreads out from the chest, brightly bursting outwards due to the silver color. The eyes are bright yellow, a design element that not only made its way into other concepts, but also into the final film. One thing I've noticed about many of the concepts is that the red sections are often fragmented and separated from the main body. This allows for many interesting creative touches to the suit, and by doing this, it seems like the artists were attempting to make the suit appear more stylized and modern. The blue sections also appear to dominate the suit, like in this concept that has blue coloring on both the spider symbol, the head, and even the eyes. This blue aesthetic must have been popular among the costume designers, as it made its way into an early test version of the suit. The web pattern on the head is also fragmented with large gaps, an element that was clearly lifted from this concept that closely matches the final suit design. You may notice that the webs are much more prevalent and sometimes spread to even the blue sections of the suit. This is a nice addition that I believe can work if the creatives gave it a chance. However, many may feel that it's too much of a design departure to include. The spider suit was supposed to look practical and appear as if Peter Parker made it himself. However, some artists still embrace a much more futuristic or advanced suit design that no teenager with a tight budget could ever afford. In these concepts by artist Bruno Wernick, Spider-Man's suit looks highly advanced and metallic. It appears as if Peter Parker decided to build a suit akin to Iron Man or Spider-Man 2099. This is clearly a suit built for intense combat and protection. These suits are very clearly stylish and unique. However, they just don't fit in with this grounded world. Eventually, these radical designs became toned down and the suit started to become more akin to Spider-Man's traditional look while still having many original elements. These suits look visibly closer to what we see in the final film, the only difference being that they are much more colorful and vibrant, especially the yellow lens, which really catches the viewer's attention. The spider logo is once again blue, proving that it was a very popular design element. My favorite of these concepts is this one. I love how the spider logo seamlessly connects with the blue outer layers. The silver webbing, red belt, and thin eyes also complement the look quite well. It's a perfect mix of Spider-Man's classic look, while still adding many modern and grounded touches that don't mess with the design. This concept must have been popular among the production team, because Weta Digital ended up creating a 3D model of the design. However, I don't believe they ever went on to create a full-sized outfit. You may notice that the spider logo looks very similar to the one seen in the Raimi films. Even the web pattern is silver, and this design language is reflected in previous concepts, cementing the Raimi influence. Even if you try to deny it, this concept is definitive proof that Raimi's suit served as a major design inspiration for the artists. The production team also played around with several different lens variations. Some look narrower and sharp, some are much larger and more broad, while others look very similar to what we see in the Raimi films. The yellow lenses were also incorporated into some of the variations, showcasing just how popular they were during the conceptual stages. Instead of using organic webbing like Raimi's films, Mark Webb and the production team opted to embrace the mechanical web shooters, something that would be more accurate to the comics. In the actual film, the web shooters look highly advanced, stylistic, and streamlined, but this wasn't always the case. Earlier concepts attempted to make the web shooters appear much more cheap and put together. The web shooters were assembled using old watches, leather bracelets, and parts of a bicycle, giving it a homemade retro aesthetic. There's also a large rubber tube leading away from the arm, implying that the web fluid is stored somewhere else on the body. Later web shooter concepts embraced a much more stylistic look, much closer to what we see in the final film. This one has some kind of mechanical rotating system that automatically switches out the web cartridges and discharges the ones that are empty.
All these souls, lost and alone, I can save them, I can cure them. There's no need to stop me, Peter.
The Lizard isn't considered a hugely popular Spider-Man antagonist, so it was a surprise when Mark Webb chose him as the villain of the film. The Lizard doesn't appear incredibly hard to translate to the big screen. He is just a giant lizard after all, but they still needed to add some human qualities to explain how he could articulate like a person. Early on, the production team wanted the lizard to look terrifying. They looked at real-life lizards for reference, and Avia Rod even commissioned some concepts very early on in development. A lot of these concepts embraced the lizard's reptilian appearance. The designs were quite terrifying and monstrous. The lizard looked like an unstoppable force of nature that couldn't hold back his murderous instincts. The artist also included dozens of bone spikes protruding from the body, and with the addition of sharp facial features and deadly large teeth, the lizard looked like something straight out of a horror film, fitting right in with the Amazing Spider-Man's dark and gritty tone. Just take a look at this concept, which fully embraces the horror factor the lizard can bring to the big screen. He almost looks like an aquatic creature that's emerged from the depths of the ocean. The design is very similar to how the lizard appeared in the Ultimate Marvel Team-Up series. However, these monstrous designs didn't quite align with how Mark Webb envisioned the character. Mark Webb wanted to ground the lizard in reality. In other words, he wanted the audience to see that despite being a monster, there was still a bit of humanity that slipped through the cracks of his monstrous form, especially when you look into his eyes. As a result of this creative preference, the lizard began to appear much more humanoid than monstrous in the concepts. This allowed him to express much more human emotions, giving the VFX team an easier time with the expressions. While some combined reptilian facial features with a human to create a distinct appearance, others seem to lean much more into a human appearance, giving him a very strange and baby-faced look. These concepts showcase an entirely unused action sequence between the lizard, Spider-Man, and the NYPD. The sequence appears to include Spider-Man being pursued by the lizard through the streets of New York. While Spider-Man darts and weaves through traffic, Lizard aggressively plows through any obstacle in his way. To make matters worse, it seems like the NYPD are trying their hardest to take both of them down. Eventually, the two of them would have an intense confrontation on top of a moving tour bus, which seems to be uncontrollably driving through the streets, creating a ton of chaos. Eventually, the bus would crash headfirst into an ice rink alongside the lizard. It's unclear why this sequence didn't make it into the final film. However, judging from the fact that a similar scene was once again included in a different set of concept arts, showcases how this action set piece must have been something that was highly considered, but was later cut out for unknown reasons. Other concepts detail alternate takes on scenes seen in the film. This concept shows Peter saving the son and the father during the bridge scene. They are standing on the car's door as well, much different to what we see in the film. This image appears to show Peter standing inside Oscorp. Judging from the spiderwebs stretched across the entire space, this is the room Peter first encountered the radioactive spiders. However, this time the room is much more vast and expansive. Other concepts detail alternate approaches to scenes we see in the film. Some concepts even include entirely unused sets and scenes that sadly didn't make it into the film. It's sad that a lot of these concepts never made it into the final film, but that doesn't stop us from wondering about all the many directions this film could have went.